Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? Oh my god, it's the coolest thing ever. It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere nationwide. I've never found a more perfect Valentine's gift. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. Seriously. So, if you're looking for a Valentine's Day gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan? Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. Of course, the show is also on the Hockey Podcast Network, also known as THPN. I want to thank Dylan and Kyle so much for having me on board that wonderful network and website, coming in out of Vancouver, British Columbia. The Minnesota Wild played 3 games this past week and got 5 out of 6 points. As Meatloaf might have said, 5 out of 6 ain't bad, because it really isn't. 5 out of 6 isn't bad, but of course, the greedy side of me, that stupid Florida game, come on, how do you not win that one? But you just didn't. Frickin' Marchand. Oh, he's annoying. He's still annoying, isn't he? But he's a hell of a player, let's be honest. Gotta be a future Hall of Famer, right? Well, this is a milestone show in multiple ways. First of all, this is the 400th episode of Brave the Wild.
Number 400!
Well, 400 episodes in. 400. Yep, it's cool. It took a long time. Well, I'll tell you exactly how long really shortly. Now, again, my podcasting quote-unquote career did not start at the same time Brave the Wild did. Brave the Wild started about 6 to 7 months later at the end of August of 2008. But what happened yesterday when I talk about milestones? I said this is a multi-milestone episode. Yesterday, my podcasting quote-unquote career turned 18 years of age. January 28th, 2008.
It's showtime!
So yeah, 400 episodes and 18 years of podcasting. Right? Basically the same day. Isn't that crazy? Basically like a day apart. Holy Toledo. 400 episodes of Brave the Wild. Now we're in the thousands in total. Like Timberwolves Explosions got close to 500. Purple Mafia is closer to 500. And then other shows like paladinolive at 22 episodes. Freedom of Thought is at 133. Mysterious Adventures is at 21. Showtime and T-Wolves is like 9. It's a tiny little episode show. Video Game Flashback is like 30, I believe, 30, 31. Now I'm blanking. But pretty wild, pun not intended. This show has emerged so nicely. I mean, what a slow climb it was back in the day. I always had a feeling this show, I just wasn't going to have the listenership, and maybe I'd end up, not doing it forever, that type of thing. I'd end up kind of like walking away eventually. And it just kind of grew, slowly, but it grew. And here I am all these years later, Brave the Wild, 400 episodes in. Is it a massive smashing success? No, but it's around. People know about it. People enjoy it. Some people don't, I'm sure, because not everybody's going to enjoy everything. Especially when it's not even it's not like on some major thing, but it's I'm very happy to be here. Obviously thrilled to be on the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm basically lucky to be on the Hockey Podcast Network. A lot of those shows are a lot bigger than this one, so it is what it is. It's an honor, it's a pleasure, and to bring this show to you frequently, especially during the season on Thursdays. And so on and so forth. Some Saturday night specials during the playoffs, that kind of stuff. And just random conversations sometimes that pop up like, man, this could have happened with the North Stars back in the day. Like, it's just, it's fun. Historic events that took place years ago, we bring it up, and then because new information comes out and you're like, huh, or just thoughts come to your head, they could have handled things a little differently. And maybe an expansion franchise would have been in Dallas, and the North Stars still would have been here, and this would have been Brave the North Stars. I don't know. I have no idea what the name would have been. It wouldn't have been Brave the North Stars. North Stars Shining Podcast or something. Who knows? Who knows? It'd be interesting to figure that one out. One of these days, maybe I'll come back to it. If a thought comes in my head, what a podcast name would have been if this was, if the North Stars were still here all these years. Kind of like the Vikings, Timberwolves, and Twins who have been here all these years. Never got into it. Well, I did a little bit of baseball podcasting. I didn't even mention paladinolive was the first podcast I ever did. It was kind of a general sports show that could get into kind of a little bit of anything. It would have been just a general show. I could have even gotten into mysterious adventures type stuff, but that would have been weird. Talking about hockey one day and then Nephilim giants in the Bible the next episode. You'd be like, what? Oh, now we're going to talk about the Vikings. And now we're going to, you know what I mean, talk about Mega Man 3. That would have been weird. So it's better to split the show up. But yeah, it tells you I'm a little nuts, all the different type of topics I like to get into and such with different podcasts. So yeah, this show is definitely a part of, you could call the paladinolive network, and also very proud to be a part of the Hockey Podcast Network. So 400 episodes, thank you, and God bless all of you. I might have a closing statement or so later. I should have written that, but people will see that it's episode 400, I'm sure. Maybe we'll talk about a teeny tiny bit more in the next episode. To the games, that Florida game was frustrating. Detroit, well, I could have won a parlay. I could have probably won thousands of dollars if I really wanted to on DraftKings, our sponsor here at the Hockey Podcast Network. I could have done that. Kirill Kaprizov, Kirill Kaprizov. I was like, he's going to come out of his goal slump. He'd been picking up assists and such, kind of like the beginning of his career here in Minnesota and his early days in the KHL even. He'd kind of start being more of an assist guy. It's like when he's not scoring goals, he's, providing another way. He's providing offense another way by setting others up and racking up assist after assist. And then all of a sudden the goals come, and they start to come. And in the Detroit game, I said he's going to have a multi-goal game, including the game-winning goal in overtime versus the Detroit Red Wings. He would have a 3-point game, 2 goals and 1 assist. Think about that. I would have hit a lot of money on that one. A lot. What did Kirill Kaprizov do? 2 goals, 1 assist, including the game-winning goal in overtime. Yeah, it doesn't really get much better than that.
Isn't that cool?
You're like, okay, Joey, enough of the sound bites. It's part of the show, dang it. It's part of the show, laddie. It's part of the show. What's the problem? Detroit Red Wings look like a good team, and I've definitely developed a soft spot for them over the years. Did not like them in the late 90s. No, it's like, damn it. And plus, there was some frustration and bitterness when the North Stars lost that playoff series, taking a 3-1 lead, only to watch it evaporate before our eyes. And that Game 7 was just depressing. Like, it looked like the North Stars had a chance, and then things fell apart as the game progressed. Kind of like Game 7 versus the Vegas Golden Knights. A few years back now, I compared that to the Game 7 versus Detroit on the road, where things looked promising, and it just kind of snowballed. It just kind of it got worse and worse and worse. And then next thing you know, it's over. The season's over, and you lost. And in a series you thought you were going to win in both cases. Opposite effect, but same bullshit result when it came to Minnesota, the Minnesota team. The Minnesota team, when the North Stars had a 3-1 lead, Detroit came roaring back and escaped and won that series, kind of like the Wild did against Vancouver and Colorado all those years ago. It started off with a close game or two, and then it just fell apart. The Vegas Golden Knights had built up a 3-1 lead. The Wild were roaring back, kind of like Vancouver and Colorado all those years ago. But then Game 7 was like Detroit. Okay, you get the point. I've babbled way too much about this, and I got to keep moving. And of course, the 400 episode conversation. Like I said, 2 goals and an assist for Kirill, 2 goals and an assist for Zuccarello. Ryan Hartman also chipped in an assist on this Quinn Hughes guy. Had 3 assists. Brock Faber with another one. Rock on. That was awesome. Awesome. Great numbers for those guys. And it's funny, all in all, with the frustrations of Kirill, like, oh man, what happened with the goal scoring? Gosh, we're going to pay him a fortune. It's not officially happening yet, but we've committed all this money to him and he's not scoring. Well, he does have 10 more points than Matt Boldy. Matt Boldy missed 4 games, not 10. Kirill does have 10 more points than Matt Boldy. So crazy. And Boldy a factor right away when he came back. Other news, Marcus Johansson will indeed go to the Olympics for Sweden. So, and no, I'm not going to put in a soundbite, even though I should. Good for him. Just for him personally, maybe for us as Wild fans, it's like, just please don't get hurt. Just like the 2 goalies going with him. So, 2 goalies going there, including one that's been giving up more goals than he was when he initially was named a member of the Sweden team. But we'll see. A lot of people think Sweden could win the whole thing. We'll see how that turns out. Quinn Hughes, yeah, my God, he's been ridiculous. 22 games, 26 points, 24 of them assists. He did not score his third goal along the way. Tarasenko's had a bit of a renaissance, but not so much this past week. Still at 28 points, so God bless him. Brock Faber at 32 points in 54 games. Ridiculous. Career high 11 goals already. And it looking like he might get into that 40 to 50 assist range if things continue in the right direction. Could have a 50 to 60 point season in Brock Faber's case, where Hughes is on his way to 70 plus. Beautiful stuff. William certainly looks a lot more raw over there in Vancouver. Rossi, who'd been fairly productive, 13 points in 17 games for us since being in Vancouver. It feels like a snake bit son of a gun, so I feel bad for him. Let's get off of that. Maybe talk about that later, here and there, and off and on during the course of time. A fun back-and-forth game. The Wild were able to escape with both points versus the Detroit Red Wings and finally getting their first win at home in 2026 on January 22nd. So, congratulations, the Wild escaped that one. Let's continue. Of course, again, topics today, of course, the 400th episode. Marcus Johansson finally getting to the Swedish team ultimately at the end of the day. So he had a feeling he might wind up there one way or another, so good for him. Brodin will not be there, of course, and he's been an oft-injured son of a gun for a long time. Another back-and-forth game Saturday night was a pleasure to watch, but really, we lost? Lots of F-bombs included with that one. Luke Cunnin, he's dropped off the face of the earth. Remember when some of us were like, wow, we gave up on him already, huh? When we traded him away. But maybe he'll be okay, And you look at Rossi, he's going to be fine in Vancouver, and then so far it hasn't been so great for him there. Luke Cunnin just continues to drop off the face of the earth. He's relegated to fourth line, and that's pretty much all he is now. Maybe that's all he ever was. Not a great first-round pick, and God bless him, not trying to crap on him, but sad. Kind of sad to see. Only 7 minutes for the Florida Panthers. Matthew Tkachuk, was it his second or third game back? Might be, I don't know. At least his second came back. Was able to chip in 2 assists. Sam Reinhart was able to get a big goal. Brad Marchand scoring clutch moments in this one, and of course also adding an assist. But the game winner for Brad Marchand, one of the most annoying things to watch, but it happens. Very annoying. Bobrovsky, also the annoying part, only faced 21 shots from the Minnesota Wild, so that was disappointing as well. Kirill Kaprizov, another multi-point game, and Boldy coming back and scoring a great shorty to put the Wild ahead, and then it was like seconds later, the frickin' Panthers tied the frickin' game up, and, well, okay, that's great. Wow, Boldy intercepting a pass and scoring unassisted, of course, in the shorthanded play, a breakaway to put the Wild up 3-2. It's like, wow, we actually might win this thing. We've been kind of behind the 8 ball the whole game. Now we're actually ahead with, less than 8 minutes remaining in the game. We might have a real shot at this. Let's put the clamps down and win this thing 3-2. And the Wild, and then the Wild were still shorthanded. And funny, Sam Bennett scores his 19th goal of the year. Boldy's 28th, by the way. Tkachuk and Brad Marchand assisting on Sam Bennett's goal to tie it up a minute and 2 seconds later. Frickin' son of a biscuit. Fill in the blank there. That was annoying. And then the overtime period was what it was. A little bit of back and forth. The next thing you know, Brad Marchand would have an opportunity, a scoring chance, so to speak, and score his 25th goal of the year. And I lost. It's freaking bullshit. I hated it. I hated it so much. It was just, seriously, that was annoying. Very annoying. It's like, go away, Marchand. Come on. And that's what happened, though. I mean, just simply what happened. It was pretty devastating, actually. The Wild did get a point out of it, so go us. But, we lost. Again, the Boldy breakaway was beautiful. But, Derek will have something to say about that. I believe he responded to it. I was like, that was a nice play. And then Derek responded. So we'll get to that in fan interaction coming up during that'll be pre-lightning round, of course. Then the Chicago Blackhawks, the Wild go down 3-0, and one of the sloppiest, crappiest, what the hell was that kind of starts to a game I've ever seen. These were kind of crappy goals. And it wasn't necessarily on Mr. Valstead, who was in the game for the loss, unfortunately. How many shots? Let's go back to Florida really quick. Go back. I apologize. God, I can't go back. I just can't do it. Okay, sorry. Clicking on.
Hey guys, finding the perfect gift for the food lover in your life is easy. Thanks to Goldbelly. Goldbelly ships America's most iconic foods straight from world-famous restaurants right to your door. So if you want to treat someone to Joe's Stone Crab from Miami, Franklin Barbecue from Texas, or desserts from famous foodies like Ina Garten or Martha Stewart, Goldbelly has you covered. Just go to goldbelly.com and for a limited time, get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT. That's promo code GIFT.
Too many buttons here and confusing everything. My apologies. Yeah, wrong team, damn it. Yes, it was Gustafson. That's what I thought. Yep, he faced 34 shots. Florida was just kind of better most of the game. And yeah, that was kind of semi what Derek was saying, if I remember correctly. It's like they were kind of better most of the game, and then everything just kind of fell off the face of the earth. Yeah, well, it didn't really fall off the face of the earth, but the Wild lost in overtime, bottom line. It just didn't happen, and that sucked, bottom line. So, yes, let's get out of there. Jesper Wallstedt returning to the net. Obviously, one of the Swedish goalies in the Olympic, the Olympics, the tournament. Yeah, well, whatever it is, it's a tournament. It's a world type of tournament. The Wild would fall down 3-0. Again, very sloppy play. The first goal just felt like, again, not so much the goalie's fault, just kind of, just kind of sloppy. Like, I don't know. And it's ironic how Quinn Hughes and Faber were on the ice for all of them. I was like, really? So it's kind of weird to watch that at times. That's why they wound up with a -2 in the game. Hughes and Faber, including Faber, kind of semi-assisted on the second goal for Chicago. The third goal was just kind of like an odd man rush that just went in. That was kind of a soft goal given up by Mr. Wallstedt, pardon me. But Faber was basically won a battle, got the puck back, kind of semi behind the, diagonal behind the, it would be the goalie's right side. The goalies, if you're the goaltender, would be on his right side a bit, a few, maybe, 10, 15 feet away, something like that, along the wall, won the wall battle, and then kind of did like a backwards pass, like a behind the back pass to Danil Urov, who mishandled the puck, which went right to a Chicago player who scored immediately. So that was crappy, very crappy. That was officially, that was Ryan Donato. Yep. So basically, Faber got an assist on the Ryan Donato goal in a way. Just kind of sloppiness in front of the net as well on the first one. And then the second one was more of a, odd man rush type of a situation, which put the Hawks up 3-0 early in the second period, which had us all thinking, we're going to lose to the Blackhawks, aren't we? And then Yakov Trenin, gorgeous shot, kind of got the Wild back in it. Gorgeously placed shot. Was it a soft goal? I think it was just a really good shot. Maybe on the lucky side, you could say. Both Trenin and Hunt getting very much needed points. Fourth goal for Trenin, fourth assist for Damon Hunt. Then Joel Eriksson with the put in, with Hughes putting the puck on net, and Joel Eriksson finishing. I believe Marcus Johansson tipped it. That's why he was able to also add an assist. That was a wonderful thing. The goal that tied everything up was pretty damn exciting. Again, Quinn Hughes putting the puck on net, Boldy getting a piece of it, Joel Eriksson trying to score, but serving up a juicy rebound where Spurgeon just kind of Spurgeon initially put the puck on net. It wasn't Quinn Hughes. It was Spurgeon put the puck on net. Boldy kind of tipped it. Joel Eriksson thought he had a goal. Puck came back out from obviously Spencer Knight's pads. And Jared Spurgeon basically had a slam dunk. It was just kind of like, he kind of came back in from behind and slam dunked that thing in. And, it was a slam dunk. 5th goal of the year to tie things up with 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining. And Wild would not score in overtime, but Kirill Kaprizov would in the second period. Zuccarello did not score. Boldy did not score, but Kaprizov did. He was the second guy, I believe. Yes, he was the second guy. He did score, nice move and everything. And then Wallstedt was perfect. And you got to see the Great Wall of St. Paul celebrate once again in his Great Wall of St. Paul style, just like on the shirts. So, yes, the Wild wind up with 5 out of 6 points. So, wonderful there. The Mike McDonough Award winner for this episode, it's got to be Kirill Kaprizov. Nice return, getting things going again. Obviously, Quinn Hughes could be a candidate every week. Yeah, I mean, getting things going in the scoring, goal scoring, generally speaking, but obviously generally a wonderful week for Kirill Kaprizov. Again, like I said, Quinn Hughes could be a candidate every single week. Jared Spurgeon deserves to be a candidate this week. Good, strong week for him. The James Shepard Memorial. I don't know. That Florida game just felt kind of generally sloppy. Chicago game was very sloppy at times. I can't give it to Hughes or Faber. I'm not going to give I can't give it to Faber, or obviously not Hughes. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of it wasn't the best night for the guys. Now, part of it was just they happened to be on the ice at the wrong time, but and a really unlucky bounce. Kind of in both cases, it wasn't necessarily Faber's fault. Urov wasn't ready for the pass. Probably an ill-positioned pass. Like, why are you? Yeah, it was kind of almost like a centering pass in a way. That's what it ended up being for Ryan Donato, former Wild player, of course. Yes, we've heard that 50,000 times already. So it's kind of like maybe two guys were at fault there. The decision of placing the puck, kind of ill-advised. I'm sure Faber would like to get that back if he could. I don't know. Just kind of generally speaking, I don't really think I have a general player. Well, maybe Juracek, just a general non-factor. He's been out there in every game and doesn't look like he's much of a factor no matter what you do. So generally Juracek, I guess, is a safe one. Damon Hunt had a couple of points this past week, so we appreciate what Damon Hunt is able to do. Nothing special, of course. He's a third pair, and that's about it. So that's pretty much what he's projected to be now. There were times a lot of us thought he could be a top four. Maybe not a lot of us, but a few of us. But hey, he's in the pros. He's in the National Hockey League. So good for him, generally speaking. So I guess we'll go with Juracek for just kind of, he's just not a factor. He's just not. And boy, he cost the Wild a loss. You know, it's like that big move, like the Quinn Hughes move. That was kind of like you didn't give up as much. You still gave up a ton. And my God, the contrast between Juracek and Hughes is, not even on the same planet, as Derek might say when we were talking about at the time. It was like McDavid and Kaprizov, when Kaprizov was a rookie. It's like, yeah, the numbers weren't even on the same planet, as Derek said at the time. I don't know if he remembers that, but I do, because I got a kick out of it. It was funny, because, yeah, they weren't on the same planet. And that's what we're looking at with Juracek versus Hughes, with the two big defenseman trades the past, last year to this year. So, and we got Hunt back, too. Woohoo. So at least we recovered somehow. And Juracek and Hunter playing together. Isn't that cool? So it all worked out in the... No, it really didn't, but yeah, it is what it is. We passed out the awards, demerits, and all that cute stuff. Let's take a quick break and preview the upcoming 4 games, and then we get to wait a long, long time for the next one. And we are back here on Brave the Wild for upcoming games, of course, and then we head into the Olympic break and such. What do we got? Edmonton. I'm a little slow. Calgary. Edmonton, yeah, and plus we have the month switch. That's part of it. Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal again, and Nashville. A couple teams that have had the Wild's number a little bit of late. Yeah, Calgary's had the Wild's number too. Wild maybe have had Edmonton's number. We'll get back to that in a minute. But first, we're going to hear from DraftKings right here and right now. The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey, hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State and Show Me St. Louis Blues, Cardinals and stuff. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Especially like a Kirill Kaprizov Parlay. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, Hartford Whalers fans, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. Sorry, Blackhawk fans. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Sorry, Maple Leafs fans. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2026. All rights reserved. Well, we have to return to The Calgary Flames are 21, 25, and 6. And they've had the Wild's number since probably the second year in the Wild's history. Wild had the Flames number in the first year. I've mentioned this just about every episode I've ever done when we talk about the Calgary Flames. The Wild dominated the Flames their first year in the National Hockey League. Pretty much since then, not really. Calgary Flames are 7th in the Pacific, the former Atlanta Flames. Coolest logo ever, maybe. The Sea of Red is pretty cool, too. Nazem Kadri is leading the club in scoring with in 52 games, 35 points. I don't know. I mean, it's good numbers and everything, but not much to write home about if that's your leading scorer. I'm sorry to say, they're looking a lot more like an expansion team right now, even though they're really not at all. Been in the league since the early 70s as the Atlanta Flames, or was it mid? Injury report, Jonas Brodin. Yeah, what a bummer. I don't mean to be too rude to him. Jonas Brodin, head coach John Hines on Monday, January 26th, said that Brodin is expected to miss approximately 6 to 8 weeks. I believe some surgery took place. So, as for what the injury is, I'm not sure. I don't really want to speculate, and that sucks. Some of you probably have an idea. I just don't. Zach Bogosian, the Wild said on Saturday, January 24th, Bogosian isn't ready to return to the lineup yet. So that was almost a week ago, and, well, he's not there, so it is what it is. Calgary Flames side, let's see if there's more than 3. The Wild have 2, thankfully, so knock on wood there. Calgary has 6 players here. We'll go chronologically from older to current-ish. Samuel Hunzuk, injured reserve, Flames said on November 21st. He underwent surgery and is out for 6 months. So, sounds like something very serious, like an ACL or something, or Achilles or something. So, or a big shoulder injury. I have no idea. It doesn't say anything else, but it sounds very serious, if you couldn't tell. Jack Bean, defenseman. Injured reserve, Flames said on December 18th. Bean will undergo surgery and expected to be sidelined indefinitely. That was at the beginning of, it started at the beginning of December and officially was announced on December 18th. John Beecher, center, injured reserve, Beecher remains in injured reserve, but is on the ice for Friday's January 23 practice. Okay, and he's been out since the beginning of the year, basically. Beginning of not the season, but 2026. Zane Prak. Zane Prak, defenseman, out. And about. No, he's out. He's not about. The Flames sent Zane Pak to the minors on Saturday, January 17th for a conditioning loan. There you go. So, hopefully there's no interest involved in that one. Let me tell you about interest. Blake Coleman, left wing. Injured reserve, the Flames sent on Wednesday, January 28th, just recently here yesterday, the 18th birthday of my podcasting career. Okay, sorry. The Coleman will not be available until after the Olympic break, per Pat Steinberg of Sportsnet 960 The Fan. Sounds good. Colin Potter, out upper body on Jan 29. That sounds a very familiar day. This is also my half birthday, isn't it? July 29th, January 29th, so I'm 46 and a half. I'm 46 and a half. That's all. Isn't that cute? Yeah. Maybe I can get a cupcake. Okay, let's get off of that. I'm losing my mind here today. And the Whale did beat the Flames this year, didn't he? One of Jesper Wallsted's cool shutouts and everything. I remember at the time thinking, oh my God, we actually won. And not only we won, we shut him out 2-0. Seems like whenever we beat Calgary, it's extremely low scoring. And then we lose, it's like, the next one, 4-1. It's like, 5-1, 4-1. I can still remember the look on Mr. Bruce Boudreau's face years ago when the Wild were getting hammered by the Calgary Flames. It was like a 5-1 loss or something. Matt Dumba, had one of his gaffes, which he was known to do at the time. He was still good, I believe. Yeah, at the time, he was still one of the better players on the team, but defensively, he wasn't that good sometimes. He made mistakes. And Bruce Boudreau was looking up at the replay, and his jaw just went boom. It was like on one of the Calgary goals. I was like, oh, I started laughing. His jaw went way down. I started laughing so hard, like, wow, that must have been bad. And then, oh, yeah, it was. That was bad. Like, nobody basically went, he just got completely, I don't know, what do they call that? Where you just get faked out and you go the wrong way, and it's just like, no, really embarrassing. It was one of those. Yeah, so when the Wild beat Calgary, it's usually low scoring, and when they lose, it's bad. It's bad. Calgary's lost 4 in a row. The Wild have been kind of win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. But they have collected a point in all 5 of the last 5 games, which is nice, that are showing anyway. 2 versus Toronto, 1 versus Montreal, 2 versus Detroit, 1 versus Florida, 2 versus Chicago. Maybe we'll get 1 versus... Yeah, probably not. If we lose, I think they kill us. If we win, we win 2-1, 3-2. I remember Charlie Coyle scoring a goal, because I have a weird memory. To put the Wild up 2-1 in one of those games when the Wild were just, one of the million games. It was way back in the Mike Yeo era. Coyle was was finally starting to score a bit, and he didn't celebrate the goal at all because he's like, yeah, at least I finally did something. He was kind of annoyed with himself. Put the Wild up 2-1, and we won later. It was cool. Anyhow, comparisons. Calgary's 31st in goals. 31st. The Wild are 12th. Calgary's 32nd in assists. The Wild are 9th. Power play, Calgary is, the Calgary Flames anyway, 29th in the power play. The Wild are 7th somehow. It doesn't seem like it. Shooting percentage, but yeah, their penalty kill sucks worse. Shooting percentage, though, yeah, I never mentioned this stat, but Calgary's 32nd in the league. Like, they suck at offense. They just suck. Goals against, they're 11th. They're pretty good there. Penalty kill, they're 4th. Penalty minutes, well, they have the 3rd most penalty minutes in the league. Not more than twice, but almost twice as much as the Wild. That's insane. So, yeah, the Wild shouldn't lose this game 4-1. They really shouldn't. Let's win the season series. Let's beat the Calgary Flames. Wouldn't that be nice? We actually beat the Calgary Flames in a season series. Pacific Division, 7th place, They're 3 games under 500. Can we beat the Flames? Can we please? Devin Cooley is the goaltender. He's actually been really good. Dustin Wolf is a good, young up-and-comer. He's got 2 shutouts on the year. Cooley's got no shutouts, but he's been awesome when he's been in there. 17 games, 14 is actual starting. 6-5. 2.17 goals against average. That's pretty good. Save percentage of 92.4, whereas Dustin Wolf is 15-20. 38 games started, and he came in for one of them, so 39. Goals against average is 3.03. Save percentage is 89.6 with the 2 shutouts. Dryden Hunt. I wonder if he's related to Damon. Who knows? It's a fairly common name, Hunt. Kevin Ball. He's got the balls. Blake Coleman. Yeah, I know that was real funny. Matt Coronado, I believe he's a former Duck, right? We've talked about that a couple of times. He's the leading goal scorer for the team with 14. Kirill and Boldy have 28. So do the math there. Very simple. Let's see. 14 times 2. Yeah, exactly. Kadri's leading the club in assists with his 9 goals for 35 total points, and he's a minus 23. Blake Coleman is a plus 10. He's one of those diamonds in the rough, I guess, for the Flames. 13 goals, 8 assists on the season. Jonathan Huberdeau, what happened to him? He was spectacular on Florida. Now he's like less than half a point a game. What the hell, Huberdeau? I don't know. That's the Matthews Tkachuk trade, Huberdeau was pretty good on Florida. I remember thinking, Calgary was, that's an interesting trade because they couldn't keep Tkachuk, but they got Huberdeau back. That's not bad, And they got Weegar, and he's got 16 points in 52 games, and he's a minus 30. He's a minus 30. This is like the Iowa Wild numbers. And they're only 3 games under 500. The Iowa Wild are worse in the win-loss record. Oh, yeah. We'll be talking about them later this segment. It's like, Calgary is such a weird... It's just one of those things. It's like, is it mental? Are they staring at the flame just like the Twins stare at the Yankees pinstripes? That's been a story for about 25 years at least. 2001, the Twins actually won a series there when they were finally getting good again. The Twins were. The Twins were finally getting good again for the first time since 92, basically. Not 91, but 92. They were a good team in 92, but they missed the playoffs, that type of thing. We won the season series in New York, and it was a very impressive win. It was a 2 out of 3 or something, or 3 out of 4. I think 2 out of 3. Very impressive series for that up-and-coming Twins team. And then it took until, I don't know, what year was it, like 2023 or something to win a series there? Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like with Calgary, too, at times. It doesn't make any sense. Including a couple of awful playoff series with the Yankees. Let's not even get into that. That was several awful playoff series. Not a couple. Several. I don't even want to think about it. Ugh. It's like Vikings versus Seahawks. Awful, awful. They always kill us. Even when they aren't that good. The Wild will beat the Calgary Flames. Let's step out in faith. Calgary is one of the worst teams in the League of Light. Things are just sour there. And I don't understand why it's been so negative there. I don't. There's talented players on the roster, but they're just not performing. It's kind of like what was going on in Nashville. I think they've been getting better. Watch out for those guys. But the Wild will win the game 2-1. How about that? The only guy, the most likely guy to score, or like a prediction type of thing. Quinn Hughes gets his third. Yeah, it's going to be one of those. Quinn Hughes gets his third. It's going to take a Quinn Hughes goal, but the Wild defeat the Calgary Flames in a 2-1 battle. Maybe Gustafsson has one of his gems, because I think he's next in net, up and coming. Edmonton Oilers, we go from the, because that's not in Calgary. Then we had to, that was in Grand Casino tonight, versus Calgary. Should be fun. This one goes to Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta. Battle of Alberta. We're playing Alberta teams. One of them's here, the other's there. Edmonton Oilers, only 2 injuries, so knock on wood for them, just like us. Matthias Ekholm, an excellent defenseman. I'm a big fan. I'm not saying that to be sarcastic. The Oilers said that Ekholm is questionable for Thursday's Jan 29 game versus the Sharks. Well, watch out. They might kick your butt the way they've been playing, generally. Adam Henrique, center, injured reserve, retroactive to Jan 6th, but officially announced on Jan 13th. No information added to that one. Polar opposite team here. Calgary denies goals. They're one of those teams that's not real good, that doesn't allow a lot of goals, kind of like the Wild back in the day, and didn't score ever, basically. You know, like the old Wild before they were a playoff team, and sometimes when they were. Yeah. Anyway, Calgary. Edmonton, number 2 in the league in goals, 3rd in assists, 1st on the power play. 1st in the power play, 31.8%. Wow, that's scary. Shooting, well, we don't need to go there. That's kind of goals against 24th. Yeah, see, they give up goals, but they got Tristan Jarry, though. Jarry, woo. Penalty kills 16th. Well, it's better than us. We're 26th. Penalty minutes, 11th. So they rack up the penalty minutes a bit. Undisciplined. The Wild have already won the season series versus this Pacific Division team. 1-0. Jesper Wallstedt. It was. 1-0. No, it's like, geez, one freaking goal. I remember we were all getting worried. Like, yeah, Jesper Wallstedt's getting the shutouts, but are we going to score? This is kind of dumb. Score some goals, guys. Remember we were all getting concerned at the time? And I think we still are at times because, well, we're 12th in the league in goals. It's not that bad. Then a 5-1, much better game, we'll say, in Grand Casino on Jan 20th. No, December 20th, not Jan 20th. And this is the season, this is the rubber match, so to speak, just like the Calgary Flames. Edmonton has won a couple in a row after losing to Tristan Jarry's former club, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the New Jersey Devils, too. 2 teams that beat the Wild this year. Edmonton did win 5-0 versus St. Louis on Jan 18. And then a couple of barn burners here. Washington 6-5 and Anaheim 7-4. Yikes. Both victories for Edmonton, but those are barn burners in the hockey world. 11 goals and 13 goals, respectively, in the last 2 games for the Edmonton Oilers and their opponent. Edmonton is in 2nd place in the Pacific, kind of similar to this Christmas Colors or North Star Color team here that plays in St. Paul. Yeah, 2nd place in our division, not the Stars. Yeah, I didn't even talk about that yet. Stuart Skinner, he's on the Penguins, right? Tristan Jarry hasn't been all that spectacular. Has he? Yeah, Stuart Skinner was there. He's gone. Connor Ingram has been pretty good, though. 10 games, 2.40 goals against average, a shutout, and almost 91% save percentage. Jarry, since joining the Edmonton Oilers, 9 games, 8 starts, 3.23 goals against average, a shutout, though, and a save percentage of 88.4. It's kind of like the more things change, the more they stay the same. You know, it's just the same bleep, different goalie, you know. Connor McDavid, 92 points. 92 points. That's right. What does Kaprizov have? 64? Yeah, but again, he's had some ups and downs. Kaprizov, it'd be nice if he was closer to like at least Leon Draisaitl right now. But Draisaitl's won the scoring title before, hasn't he? But not this year right now. McDavid with 92. He's a plus 13 because they give up some goals there. 33 goals for Connor McDavid, 59 points. A man on a mission, there's no doubt. Spectacular season so far. And stay healthy, Connor, for the good of hockey. Leon Draisaitl, 51 games, 74 points, a plus 11. 25 goals, 49 assists. Second place on the team in both categories. Evan Bouchard with 54 games as well. 14 goals, which is not third on the team, but the assists are 42. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, former number one overall pick for the Edmonton Oilers. Almost a point a game, but he's missed some time. 45 games, 42 points, 12 goals, 30 assists. Matthias Ekholm, I'm a fan, 26 points in 54 games, so God bless him, and so on and so forth. Hyman, he was a big loss in the Cup final last year. Could have used his help. Edmonton, bummer. It just didn't work out at all, did it? 35 games. Yeah, he gets hurt. 35 games, 21 goals, which is third on the team. 35 points. Point a game guy. He's valuable, very. But how to stay healthy? Zach is back. The Wild's success has been wonderful against the Oilers, hasn't it? Did we win both? Yes, we did. We've already won the series, so I don't have a feeling Edmonton's going to win this one. I think it might be a flip-flop here with the Edmonton-Calgary thing, where our tradition kind of swings the other way. I got a feeling Edmonton's going to win this game, like 4-3, 4-3, though. I could imagine McDavid having a multi-goal game, and the Wild end up losing, maybe an OT, maybe the Wild squeak out a point. That's why I'm saying 4-3, or an empty netter makes it 5-3. Empty net saved the Wild against Chicago with the Spurgeon slam dunk goal. Literally was a slam dunk, so it was cool. I got a feeling it's going to be a switcheroo here. The likely guy to score for Minnesota will be our Connor McDavid. That'll be Kirill the Thrill. No, we'll say Boldy. Boldy is due for a multi-goal game, and he's going to get a multi-goal game. So get your parlay tickets ready on DraftKings. I'm not guaranteeing anything, just throwing that out there. Maybe I struck another piece of gold here, or I'm just talking out of somewhere else. February 2026, the last two games until until February 26th. That's a long wait. So yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. Colorado and Utah. Oh, goody. That'll be real fun. Okay, you guys have been on break for a while. Back-to-back, Colorado, Utah. Oh, that'll be real easy. Real easy. I can't wait for that. Well, it'll be nice to have the NHL back, but those matchups are a little tough. A little on the tough side. Yes, Utah is a tough team. They're better than people think. And I'm sure a lot of you are already caught up on that anyway. You don't need my advice. Montreal, the Wild escaped with a pretty impressive... No, the Wild lost, didn't they? Recently to Montreal, didn't we? We did. Yep, that's right. We did not win. This is not Detroit. This is not Detroit. This is Montreal, PA. Montreal's 29-17-7. Again, in the Wild were handed their 10th... No, their 9th at the time overtime loss from the Montreal Canadiens. This will be on Feb 2nd, coming up here on Monday, 6:30, Eastern Conference game. Sorry for me talking like a robot. Alex Newhook, injured reserve as of November 14th. Holy cow. Patrick Laine, way back at the beginning of the year, could return as early as late January. So, well, it's late January and he's not back. So, must be coming back soon hopefully for Montreal's sake here coming up. What's up with the goaltending in Montreal? Anyhow, great offense in Montreal. They're 4th. They have the 8th best power play. Their shooting percentage is 2nd. I'm mentioning that because it's a big stat. Goals against, they're kind of like Edmonton, 25th. Penalty kills 27th. What the hell? Their power play is 8th, like I mentioned. In penalty minutes, they're 5th in the league in total penalty minutes. So they get a lot of penalty minutes in Montreal. The Wild hoping to even up the series in Grand Casino. I'd like to believe they can and will. Continuing quickly here, if I can. Nick Suzuki with 59 points in 53 games. Wonderful. Cole Caulfield, 54 points in 53 games. Lane Hudson, 53 points in 53 games. These are, just good number after good number after good number. Ian Demidov has 43 points in 53 games. Wonderful numbers there. 11 goals, 32 assists. 9 goals, 44 assists for Lane Hudson. That's a nice team. Nice to see Montreal playing a lot better of late. Samuel, and this is very Montreal. Montebal, I believe I'm saying it correctly. I'm trying my best. It's definitely France Canadien. 22 games, 20 starts, 9 wins, 8 losses. Save percentage of 3.46. Yuck. 3.46. Save percentage of 86.8. What the fiddle, man. Jacob Dobbs, if it's saying it correctly. A little bit easier to pronounce, I think. 16-5 on the season. Jeez, magic. Magic going on there. 16-5? 2.96 goals against average. It's like it's like Cal Peterson in Iowa. Like, yeah, it's goals against average. It's somebody that's got a goals against average under 3. At least he's decent. Yeah, but of course, he's still got a shitty record, though. Pardon my French, because Iowa is awful. 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 As a former Twins manager would say, a guy by the name of Rocco Baldelli. 89% save percentage. Jacob Fowler's been in 10 games, 4 wins, 4 losses, 2.62 goals against average, and a save percentage of just above 90. So good for him. Somebody's got a save percentage of 90 or higher, and one shutout. Shutouts on la saison. Montreal Canadien coming to Grand Casino Arena. Hopefully the Wild can get the victory in this one. I'm going to predict an overtime victory. Overtime victory for the Minnesota Wild. Game-winning goal is going to Matt Zuccarello. Why not? He's been a hero. Matt Zuccarello. Game-winning goal in OT. A 4-3 victory for the Minnesota Wild in overtime. The Wild are victorious. And you know what? I'm going to reserve the right. If it goes to a shootout and Zuccarello's the hero there, still counts. What do you think of that? Even though it won't count as a goal on his statistics, but it will count as a shoot-out goal. Doesn't that sound cool just to say it like that? Sure does. Nashville Predators, the last game until we got to wait in 3 weeks for some hockey. 3 frickin' weeks. If you want to watch pro hockey, it's, the Olympics. That's what you're going to get. That's all you get for pro hockey. You still have college, high school type stuff, and then we're heading towards a tournament locally here. February the 4th, the last game of NHL hockey for us anyway, until, February 26th. The Nashville Predators are 24-23-5 on the season, so they actually have gotten past 500. Good for the Nashville Predators, trying to knock on the door for the postseason again, if that's possible. With a 500-ish record, it doesn't really happen in the NHL anymore. Fedor Sekov, if I'm saying it correctly, day to day, did not return to Tuesday's game versus the Bruins this recent Tuesday. Nicholas Hague, very familiar name, I believe with the Flames. Not the Flames, the Golden Knights.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? Oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere nationwide. I've never found a more perfect Valentine's gift. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. Seriously. So, if you're looking for a Valentine's Day gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
Predators listed Hague as out for Saturday's Jan 24 clash versus the Mammoth, as they were, locking horns, literally. They were. Mammoth versus Predators. Ooh, yeah, it was a clash. He's considered week to week as Nick Hague, so sorry to hear that. Predators are 24th in goals, 23rd in why do I keep going to that stat? It says 15th power play right in the middle. Goals against are 28th. They're giving up a lot. Penalty kills 11th. Their goals against are 28th, and they have the 11th best penalty kill. That's an interesting. That's an interesting conflict there. Penalty minutes are 17th, so reasonable, Reasonable at staying out of the box. The series is tied. The Wild won in overtime versus Nashville. Yep, you're going to get dramatic games like this versus this team, back and forth. It's been like this for about 10 years or more. 3-2 win in overtime on November 4th, and a 3-2 loss as we headed into the Christmas couple days there, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day on December 23rd. These were both in Grand Casino. Now this one and the season rubber match on April 14th in Nashville at 4 p.m. Sounds like a weekend game and a lot more sunlight at that stage. Though our sunlight is growing. It's, as we head to the end of Jan now, it's speeding up a little bit. Oh yeah, it's growing faster. Nice. Just like at the very end of July, you start losing light faster, which sucks. It happens gradually through the whole month, but, and vice versa and all that. The only win for Nashville in the last 5 games was Ottawa, 5-3. They did get annihilated by Vegas, 7-2 back on the 17th. A couple of weekends ago here, looks like. And their recent loss to Boston, 3-2. And Utah, the Mammoth, the Clash versus the Mammoth, 5-2. Loss for Le Predateur. Okay, so what's going to happen here? Overtime win for the Wild? Huh? What do you think? Should we get an overtime win? Let's see, who do we play this week already? We beat Calgary, lose to Edmonton, beat Montreal in overtime, and let's win another one here versus the Predators. Let's say an overtime win, 3-2. Something has been 3-2 every game. Let's stick to that. And the overtime winner goes to the overtime winner. Yeah, it's just too much overtime, but hey, at least you get the rest after this. So overtime's not going to kill you, I hope, except for those of you going into the Olympics. Stay healthy, guys, please. Please stay healthy. Quinn Hughes, Brock Faber, Marcus Johansson, the 2 goalies, of course. Marcus Johansson with the game winner in overtime. Weird choice, maybe, but yes, the Swede will beat the Predators. The Swede beats the Predators heading into his Olympic, heading to his Olympic team, and we'll have a lime and tomato juice for Marcus Johansson for his predicted win. That's kind of Kaprizov has multiple points. Yeah, well, he probably will in some of these games. Wouldn't be that big of a shocker. But how many points do the Wild get this week if we do this? 6 out of 8. So let's go for it, or even possibly. Yeah, 6 out of 8. Maybe you have an overtime loss and it's 5 out of 8. But let's go for 6. Let's get the victory, damn it. And emerge victorious. Oh, yeah, I had this losing to Edmonton in overtime. So that's 5 out of 8. That's what it was. 5 out of 8. You lose to... No, it would be 6 out of 8 because I have a beating Montreal. That's right, and beating Calgary. My bad. So we're going to go there. 6 out of 8 this week. And hopefully the Wild can pull that off. With that said, so with that, we're going to take a quick break. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to look at the prospects. Where am I going? I'm trying to make this fairly quick here. I'm losing track of the time, and I'm in trouble. Look at Iowa real quick. I'll try to keep that brief because they're icky. Carson Lambos now has 11 points. He's been chipping in some points lately, which is great. Now at 11. He's only a -5 on a team that's filled with guys that are in the teens in the minus category. So at least... Carson Lambos is kind of a positive. He's got, one game in the NHL. Riley Heidt, people are encouraged, generally speaking, but the overall numbers aren't showing yet, but he's developing at the pro level. Hunter Haight's conversation is, yes, he really is developing nicely in Iowa, more than it looks. So that's nice to hear. We heard an encouraging conversation this past week with some Iowa conversation on, I forget what show it was. But it was one of the local shows that is a big name. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. But yeah, Hunter Haight, there is definitely some encouraging conversation there. He's a -12 with 9 goals to be second on the team, actually. So a lot of people think he could be definitely at least a bottom 6 with the Wild coming up here pretty soon. And, injury fill-in type of guy at the very least. Hunter Haight has been encouraging signs. Actually, he's a bit ahead of Riley Height at the moment. But he's also a year older. Yeah, he's a year older, literally. So, David Spacek, guy who should be on Minnesota probably instead of Juracek, but they're trying their best to see what they got in Juracek before finally saying bleep it, and then, let's go with Spacek or including him in a possible trade coming up here very soon. Because Wild are probably going to make one more deal, probably, but we'll see. With players that maybe might not... Get a real chance here, kind of like Damon Hunt in the past when we dealt him at the stupid Juracek trade. Yes, it's a stupid trade. It sucked. But we'll see. Hopefully this next one isn't as stupid. Maybe he was leading the club in scoring, but he's a -15. He's 32. You get the point. Cal Peterson, again, kind of like that Montreal goalie, I guess, but way better record. 3-13 in Cal Peterson's case, so yikes. 2.95 goals against average, which again is decent compared to other guys. 89.3 save percentage. I keep mispronouncing it. 3.41 goals against average. He's 4-9 on the year and 88.3 save percentage. Let's get off of Montreal, Iowa, if we can. Okay, Bankier, 10 points in 36 games, -9. He's an important player in the future here for Minnesota, possibly. So we'll keep going though for the sake of time here. Some of these guys like Petrovsky, yes, he's a big tough guy. I don't know if he comes here, good for him. Ryan Healy, I don't know if he's going to be an NHL player. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see how he does. You never know. 8 points in 20 games for Harvard, -1 on the year. He's unfortunately gone into the minuses. Reger Lorenz, Denver again, both senior year for Healy and Reger Lorenz. 18 points in 27 games. He's a +8 for the contenders there in, they are contenders all the time, the Denver Pioneers. Okay, these guys are in the NHL, so I'll keep going. Jimmy Clark for the frustrating, awful Gophers right now. Awful. 12 points in 25 games, and he's even in the plus-minus. Kirill Kaprizov with 12 points for Michigan Tech. Okay, and a +5. Kirill Kaprizov has been all right for Michigan Tech. 21 years of age, so kind of a late bloomer in the college, and that does happen sometimes, where guys hang out in the juniors for a while. Aaron Pionk still at 5 points in 26 games now, and a -6 for Minnesota Duluth, the Hermantown native. Kumpalainen, yeah, I've been dancing around him. He's really picking it up. Like I was talking about getting his batting average up and hitting some home runs at AA versus AAA. The baseball comparison. Rasmus Kumpalainen's hitting a couple homers, and his batting average is getting up to almost 300 now. Good for him. 10 points in 12 games for the Iowa Heartlanders. Good job, Rasmus. 5 goals, 5 assists, and he's a +5. Good job, Rasmus, with the Highlander, with the Highlanders, not the Iowa Wild. Charlie Stramel reaches 30 points at the collegiate level now. 30 points, a nice milestone. He's a +24 in 24 games, 13 of them goals. Good job, Charlie. Good to see him emerging nicely. Will he turn pro? Well, he's going to have to. He's a senior. So, welcome to Iowa. We'll see what happens. Maybe he makes the Minnesota Wild outright. I don't know. I don't know if I want him in Iowa, but maybe it's okay. It sounds like guys are developing, even though it doesn't look like it. But maybe that's part of the reason for the struggle. They're really working on developing guys more than anything else. So God bless them there. That's very respectable. Woodsky, the goaltender, his save percentage is almost 91. Almost 91. He's doing really well, actually. It's the WHL, though. Don't get your hopes up yet. But he's doing pretty well considering his crappy goals against average of 3.46. I mention it every week, and I'm going to keep mentioning it. He's facing a firing squad in Moose Jaw right now. If his save percentage is almost 91, yet his goals against average is 3.5. So it is what it is. Hang in there, Chase. Wishing you the best, my friend. Soyani, again, well, just more games and no points hardly. 4 points in 32 games. Again, the Finnish leagues, guys get single-digit points all the time there. It is what it is. -2 on the season. Aaron Kiviharu, 9 points, almost to double digits in his Finnish team. He is Finnish. He was born in Denmark, but he's Finnish. We've talked about that a couple times. 30 games, 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points, -8. I don't know. He'd be a nice story, but he'd be a heck of a story too if he was to emerge from that. Medicine Hat Tigers last year for Ryder Ritchie won the championship in the WHL. Boston University this year. Boston University, one of those huge name universities. 25 games, 13 points, -4 for Ryder Ritchie. Right shot, right? Yeah, he's a right shot, right winger. Not dominating at all, but not stuck in either, really. Take a look at Z Bouillon for the fun of it. He got his 6th point recently. 2 goals, 4 assists. Okay. 6 point with Vancouver. That would be his 20th point in the season. So, a little milestone there. We'll take it. Justin Kipke. 10 points so far for the 20-year-old left shot defenseman. Arizona State University. I turned the sound up, didn't I? Stupid. Oh well. 10 points in 24 games. Dominated in WHL. Not so much at the college level yet. Carter Klippenstein, mean, tough son of a gun. He's alive. Yes, he is. 38 games, 28 points for the WHL's Brandon Wheat Kings. He's a +1 on the season. Liam Madovsky, 31 points in 43 games, and a +6 for the right winger in the WHL, by the way. OHL's Adam Bennick, who had 7 assists with one goal in the World Junior Championship. Zuccarello type statistics here. Tons of assists. Smaller guy with tons of assists. And for the Czech Republic from Pilsen. God bless him. We'll see. Eagerly looking forward to what he can do at the next level. Hope he translates. It'd be nice. It'd be a nice story. 4th round pick from Minnesota. Theodor Hallqvist, the youngest guy in the entire system. Again, he's been up and down through the pros. Obviously, 7 games in the pros, 1 assist. 11 games at the junior level. This is in Sweden, 5 assists. At the minor pro level, 3 assists in 28 games and a -13. So yeah, you can see the contrasts. Again, he's not even going to be 19 until June 14th. So wait and see with that one. He was a 2nd round pick, 52nd overall last June. With that said, we'll take a quick break and come back for fan interaction. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, 400th episode, fan interaction, coming up right here and right now at Brave the Wild, Jay Bushy leading things off here. I remember the hashtag BGWMN, like I was saying, leading things off like Dan Gladden, saying a lot of OT games recently by the Wild. They need some regulation wins. Your thoughts? Yeah, it's been a lot, and hope it doesn't get to be too much. And the sad part is in the predictions, as you might have heard, predicting more overtime games. I think at least, was it 2 or 3? I got a feeling, yeah, it has been a lot. It's all this miracle comeback or blowing the lead late, like Florida. They should have hung on and won, but of course they didn't. It was like immediately a goal afterward. Yeah, my thoughts are it's a little frustrating, but you hope you can at least come out with a win. But yeah, the Florida and the Montreal, those are frustrating. You want to win those, and of course they didn't. It's damn frustrating, to say the least. Tom Hayen jumping in. There he is. They have 1 regulation win on home ice in the last 5 weeks. Yeah. Yep, not even Detroit. Yeah, think about that. So it's pretty wild. Pun semi-intended. And yes, outside of a few replies coming in, the Derek Velska lightning round is here. Yes, sir. So Derek coming in out of the Crease Assist podcast with Teresa, Kalisha, and Steve. Steve, great to have him on board there. I think he's in Oregon now, but Minnesota, of course, from Minnesota. That would be Brand Steve that you might see on Twitter frequently. Derek says the Athletics' Michael Russo said Nashville Predators are considering offering 2 first-round picks for David Jiricek before the Blue Jackets. Oh, wow. Oh, that they were. The Blue Jackets, this is past tense. I'm not reading this right. The Athletics, Michael Russo, said the Nashville Predators considered, past tense, offering 2 first-round picks for David Jiricek before the Blue Jackets took our offer. Ouch. What do you think is the realistic return for David Jiricek now? Maybe a 3rd-round pick and like a 3rd pair kind of guy. You might be like, Joey, that much? Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think somebody out there might be semi-interested. This may have generated a bit of replies here. I can read them quick. Tony Pergel said, so much depends on the market at that time. In the summer, values probably drop, but in season, with injuries and or playoff spots on the line, prices go up. Value of a big, mobile 23-year-old right-handed D might be better than the Wild fans think. Brent Burns took years to grow into what he became. True. Derek was saying, I understand what you're going with. I think Burns is a great athlete that plays hockey. Staying and playing on defense was his best bet. Yeah, because he was drafted as a forward. Some of you may or may not remember, which both of these guys do. But he was a natural athlete. Juracek has some natural gifts, but he doesn't move nearly as smoothly as Brent Burns. All right, so, yep. I think there's a couple more replies in there. Don't want to get in a huge conversation because I got to keep going for the time and everything. But, yeah, obviously, okay, yep, interesting. Okay, yeah, it's just a back and forth. It doesn't take that long. Yes, Burns was far more mobile, playing and winning games. Right-handed defense are not easy to come by. Yep, that's why Bill Guerin ponied up to get him in the first place. Derek says Burns was a player that can be honed into something special. Juracek may have had past tense people thinking he could be one at one point in time, but I don't see the natural mobility or potential processing to be a player that can be honed like Burns was. Yep. I think you're right, Derek. Tony continuing, saying, Tony Perkle, that is, recall that Burns struggled for 4 to 5. That is true. So it's like some good points by both of you guys here. Does Tony not follow me back? Come on, Tony. Follow me back, Tony, if you happen to be listening. Come on now. Recall that Burns struggled for 4 to 5 years to find his identity. Not saying he's Burns 2.0, 20 years in the show, but the original question was about current value. Yeah. A couple more. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Yep. I mean, it's true. Some good conversation. Good conversation, guys, for sure. So we're going to continue here. But, yep. Yeah. Let's keep going. More and more. Yep, this is Derek. More and more games are going to overtime. Yep, it's not just the Minnesota Wild as teams play passively in the latter. Yeah, because they're trying to be careful to preserve the point. Yep, like he's saying, preserve at least a point in the standings. Is this more proof that the so-called loser point needs to go away immediately? I think you're. Yeah, that's a good point. Because point no pun intended. Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of lame. How guys are like, okay, let's just be careful. It's like you're playing kind of not prevent defense. It's kind of the opposite. It's like really putting the clamps down. Like, yeah, let's not try to score at all. No aggressiveness at all. Ultra conservative. 3-3 game, whatever, for the last 5 minutes. Let's not bleep this up. But yeah, it's funny how many times we've been scored on in the last 2 minutes too, and then end up losing. Yeah, I think it's a conversation that should be brought up in the next collective bargaining agreement. Yes, it should absolutely be raised, and maybe soon as possible. Yes. Continuing. This is Derek again because it's the lightning round. A person recently discovered an Easter egg. Oh, I like that kind of thing. In EA Sports original NHL hockey from 1991. If you are the San Jose Sharks and win the Stanley Cup, you get an extra message of the fierce fish wins the cup. That's what secret Easter egg message would you put in for the Wild? Ooh, boy. The Stanley Cup braves the Wild? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no. The fierce fish win the cup. That is kind of cool. I'm trying to think. The wild side comes out. Something along those lines. The wild side comes out as the Wild win the cup. Or something. That doesn't sound too good, does it? The Stanley Cup goes wild this year, or something. I can't come up with anything too spectacular. The Stanley Cup will brave the Wild this year. The Stanley Cup will brave the Wild this year. Yeah, I have to do it. We'll go with that. You might be like, okay, well, we'll see. Next, will this be the first year where only 3 Central Division teams qualify for the NHL playoffs with no Central clubs getting a wild card bid? Possibly. Kind of going back and forth here. My apologies. Derek likes to keep me on my toes, right? No, I'm just teasing. Yeah, but he kind of... Yep, there's the Wild. Why isn't it showing it correctly? This looks stupid. Come on now. Okay. Why isn't it separating people? Well, bloody hell. Interesting. Yeah, you got Utah. So far, it looks like Anaheim and San Jose are the wild cards. Oh, yeah, that's your whole thing. That's your whole point. What am I saying? Yes, I think you're absolutely right. Yes. St. Louis is too far behind. Winnipeg, yep. Chicago, yeah. You're correct. Yeah, that's the exact point. Yes, you got Anaheim and San Jose. Yeah. Otherwise, you got possibly Utah. Yeah, I think you're right, though. I don't think there's going to be a single wild card team at the end of the day, possibly from the Central. If this keeps up, it absolutely could happen. Yeah, you got the Kings. Maybe they'll push Utah out of the way. I'd like to see Utah make it, just because I think that'd be cool. I'm tired of the Kings. I think a lot of people are. It's like a lot of those same players, and then some other guys maybe we're not big fans of, just that type of thing. I think it's quite possible. I think the possibility is very strong, though I'd love to see Utah make it. Definitely don't want to see the Los Angeles Kings make it. So hopefully Utah can get it done. It kind of depends on those two, I suppose, going forward. Interesting question there. That is. Continuing. I understand. Okay, yeah, that's his response. That's Derek's response with Tony there. Tony Perkle. Continuing with that one. Here we go. Last one. I really want to know what the Minnesota Wild saw in... Okay, this is Mr. Juracek. So this conversation is continuing, but I didn't get to it. So basically, Derek's saying, I really want to know what the Wild saw in David Juracek that told him he could be fixed in a way Columbus couldn't. Also, if you are picking up a reclamation project, why are you paying a premium price? Exactly. It's poor asset management. That's a good point. That's a really good point, like a gold star point there. But Tony's saying, size, right-handed defenseman, reasonable mobility. Is he up to standards we've seen here since Lemaire? No. I don't think he's awful. 5 to 6 NHL teams would probably play him a lot. Overall, he hasn't been as bad as Faber was for 2+ periods the other night. Against the Hawks. Yeah, that was bad. It's a bad day. It was one of those bad games. I just couldn't give him the popcorn maker thing. Let's say James Spurgeon. Overall, he wasn't as bad as Faber was for 2+ periods the other night, but no one picks apart the hometown kid. Yeah, I don't want to either, honestly. But, because generally he's pretty damn good. Derek's saying, really? David Juracek to Faber? They're not remotely comparable. Faber is far more mobile and processes the game much faster than Juracek does. Many other teams would be glad to have Faber and play him a lot. Very few teams would want Juracek and play him a lot. Yes. And Morty says facts. Yep. Yeah, so it's like, yep. I mean, I wouldn't put those two in the same sentence, no. So, that's, those are some good points back and forth about the value of Juracek, but then, I don't think he's I'm not all that confident in, put it that way. Kind of back and forth conversations with a few guys there. That just keeps going and going for a long time. But yes, we can't. We got to keep going. A great conversation though, and interesting. At the end of the day, huge shout out to again Kreis's podcast, of course. Big shout out to MNW Young Guns or MNW Prospects. Spectacular on Twitter and Facebook. Love it very much. You guys do an amazing job and deserve a ton of credit. Minnesota Wild Global, big shout out to them as well. With that said, thank you so much for listening. Please tell your friends about the show. Continue to share and retweet it with a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whichever app allows you to do so. It'd be greatly appreciated. Continue to interact with me. Would really appreciate it, and have the hashtag BTWMN to keep things organized, like we've been doing here for a while now. Thank you again, and hopefully the Minnesota Wild can wrap up this last week before the break with a decent amount of points. At least 6 out of 8 would be great. 8 out of 8 would be spectacular. And then we're probably not going to have a show for a little while. No, I think we'll have a show next week reviewing, and then we'll not do a show. So we'll have a show next week reviewing things and keeping up with the prospects. So that's what's going to happen. I'm not going to stop recording. We got to review those games. And, just have general conversation. Hopefully there's no bad news to talk about as well, but just general conversation, and then going into the break, and then eventually inching closer and closer to the trade deadline. I want to say thank you once again for for giving me the pleasure of doing 400 episodes of Brave the Wild over almost 18 years. 18 years total. I did talk about the Wild on paladinolive a bit, but it wasn't like the main topic. It was one of the topics where Brave the Wild, it is the Minnesota Wild. So thank you for 400 wonderful episodes, and here's to 400 more. I would like to keep it going for at least 400 more, maybe to 1,000. And I'll be a lot older then, but we'll see how things go. Thank you again. Please stick with me if you could. And for 400 more, it'd be wonderful. Wonderful indeed. 500's on deck, I guess, for the next milestone. Until next time, well, take care. God bless. Go wild. Stay healthy.
All right, guys, so check this out. Have you ever heard of Goldbelly? Okay, so it's this amazing site where you can order the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants all across the country, and they will ship it straight to your door. That's right, these guys will ship you Philly cheesesteaks from Jim's or Pat's in Philly, buffalo wings from the Anchor Bar in Buffalo, and even Kansas City's most legendary barbecue. So if you're looking to host an epic Super Bowl party, go to goldbelly.com and get free shipping and 20% off your first order with promo code GAMEDAY.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.